So again, this is the book Dzogchen by the Dalai Lama, transcription of his teaching on Garb Dorje's three words that strike the essence, particularly the text by Pacho Rinpoche called The Special Teaching to the Wise and Glorious King. So we went over the first statement already, introducing directly the face of Rigpa itself. So it's teaching of the wise and glorious king. That would make more sense. Corresponds to some other texts. All right. So whether you are in meditation or in post-meditation, that is to say, in the formal sessions or the periods in between them, there's no real difference between the two. That is why the meditation just in sessions and the meditation when you are active during breaks are not separate. No division between sessions and breaks. In this great meditation with nothing to meditate on, the continuous river-like yoga of inherent, even and all-pervasive wisdom, there is not even a hair's breadth of anything to meditate on, nor an instant of distraction. This is what is meant by saying, neither do I ever meditate, nor am I ever separate from it. So I have never been separate from the true meaning of non-meditation. And that is why I always remain in this indivisible state. Without making any division between formal practice sessions and the periods between them, you should rest in a continuous and vivid state of Rigpa. If someone is a suitable and receptive vessel for the unique path of Dzogchen, just as the teachings themselves intend, and they belong to the instantaneous type of person who is liberated upon hearing teaching, then, for such a person, perception and thoughts are the supreme basis for liberation, and anything that happens becomes the flow of Dharmakaya. There's nothing to meditate on, and no one to meditate. However, others who are less fortunate, who still fall prey to delusory thinking, must find stability in gradual stages. Until they do so, they must engage in the practice of meditation. Therefore, but until stability is attained. So it looks like the root text that's in bold, they're explaining after they state it. So it says until stability is attained, and now we'll probably talk a little bit about that particular part of the root text. And of course, just to bring that into context for all of you, familiarizing with awareness is Dzogchen Shamta, as you probably already know. Those for whom the arising and liberation of a thought are simultaneously, excuse me, start that over. Those for whom the arising and liberation of thought are simultaneous are of the very highest caliber. For beginners, however, it is not enough that the Rigpa has been directly introduced. They must meditate in order to extend this experience over time, and this they must do away from all distractions and busyness. That meditation must be done when all the conditions favorable for meditative stability are complete. Only then will real experience occur. And I would just say only then realization can occur. No matter how long you spend meditating in the midst of busyness and distraction, true meditation experience will not arise, and so it is vital to meditate away from all distractions and busyness. While meditating, too, though there is no difference between practice in formal sessions and post meditation, if you are not truly grounded in your meditation first, you will be unstable. You will be unable to blend the wisdom you have experienced with your post meditation. However hard you try to turn your daily life into the path, your vague and generalized understanding makes you prone to slip into your old negative patterns and habits. Therefore, dividing the practice into proper meditation sessions. You might have the sort of practice which makes you confident that you can keep up this state of meditation by dividing the practice into proper sessions. Even so, if you do not understand how to integrate that practice with the activities of post meditation and how to maintain it continuously, then this practice will not serve as a remedy when difficulties arise. When some discursive thoughts lead you off, you will sink back into very ordinary things. This is why it is so very important to abide in the all penetrating state of awareness after meditation, all the time, in any situation. More especially when we are not practicing formally, but doing other kinds of things like meeting people, we run the risk, because of our strong past habits, of falling under the influence of powerful attachment and aversion. This is why the experience that was directly introduced must be stabilized without interruption, all the time, in any situation, while we continue to develop certainty about it again and again. At that point, there is no need to seek for anything else on which to meditate. Instead, in a state of meditative equipoise that never parts from this very view of Dharmakaya, maintain an unconcerned, carefree, nonchalant towards all actions and all thoughts, without suppressing or indulging them, but letting things come and go, one after another, and leaving them be. And the root text says, abide by the flow of what is just Dharmakaya. And that means that though all manner of thoughts can arise and usher in all kinds of experiences, pleasant or unpleasant, none of these thoughts falls outside of the expanse of self-arising Rigpa, the wisdom of Dharmakaya. That is what they initially arise from, and what they dissolve back into in the end, the expanse of Dharmakaya. In the meantime, these perceptions and appearances, in all their variety, arise like the images we see in our dreams. So the text is saying, in effect, understand them to be the flow of Dharmakaya, which is also termed Samantabhadra, all good, and mind without beginning or end. A practice such as this, which is the indivisible union of shamatha and vipassana, the yoga of the natural state, free from elaboration, uncontrived and innate, the abiding by the face of the intrinsic nature of reality, is the heart of the practice of all the tantras of the secret mantra Vajrayana. It is the ultimate wisdom of the fourth empowerment. It is the specialty, the wish fulfilling gem of the practice lineage. It is the flawless wisdom mind of all the accomplished masters in their lineages of India and Tibet, of both old and new traditions. So decide on this with absolute conviction, and do not hanker after other pith instructions, your mouth watering with an insatiable appetite and greed. Otherwise, it is like keeping your elephant at home and looking for its footprints in the forest. You walk into the trap of unending mental research, and then liberation will never have a chance. Therefore, you must decide on your practice and decide with absolute conviction that there is nothing other than this. When you are seeking this certainty within yourself, if your mind goes everywhere thinking, perhaps this will be better, or maybe that, grabbing at one thing after another, you will end up getting nowhere. So it is important that you start by coming to a decision and then proceed on the basis of that decision. You need to decide with absolute conviction that there is nothing other than this. Make a decision, then, that this naked wisdom of Dharmakaya, naturally present, is the awakened state which has never known delusion, and abide by its flow. This is the second secret and vital word, since it is so crucially important. The second vital point is decide upon one thing, and one thing only. This phrase, the awakened state, which has never known delusion, calls the mind two lines fr- calls to mind two lines from the sublime continuum. That's a nice little rhyme. Calls to mind two lines from the sublime. So remember this from earlier. I read this part. It has flaws that are only superficial, while it has enlightened qualities by its very nature. Very beautiful line, or two lines from the sublime continuum. The significance of this first line, it has flaws that are only superficial, is that all the flaws of distortion are capable of being overcome by antidotes. However, the qualities of Buddhahood that come from realization, all the qualities unique to self-arising Rigpa, or the fundamental innate mind of clear light, are primordially established. Hence the second line, while it has enlightened qualities by its very nature. Okay, that was the end of the second section. Thank you so much for listening. And I hope everyone on YouTube is doing well. Thank you so much for the love. Uh, we're getting out to people now a little bit, people finding the videos. So if you happen to stumble upon the video, I just want to say hello and best wishes. Yeah.